Hey pottery friends, it's Jeff here. I got another box from VEVOR today. This is their new and improved belt-driven wheel. Now, I've never used one of their belt-driven wheels, so I won't have anything to compare it to as far as belt-driven wheels and how it compares to the older version, but this is their new version. And I did do the direct drive model. That was my first ever Pottery Wheel VEVOR review on here, and I loved it. I know very little about this pottery wheel other than it's about $178, so we're gonna learn about it together, and I'm gonna wrestle with this box for a minute. We'll pull it out and see what it looks like and take a look at it, and then we'll go make some pots. Now, as with everything I've gotten from VEVOR, this thing looks like it's packaged really well. Let's pop it open here. We got a nice thick piece of cardboard on the top to protect it. Oh, wow. This is, wow. I don't know if you can all see that. This is like a full-size wheel. This is big. So yeah, big wheel here. So I'm just gonna move right over there real quick. This one right here, this is the last one I reviewed, and you can see that this one has got a smaller than average wheel head on it. But this one looks like it's the same size as my regular pottery wheel. So it's quite a large wheel. We got a cord. It's got the safety circuit breaker thing on it in case you spill your bucket of water. What else do we have in the box here? We have our pottery toolkit. Now, this is basically all you need to make some really nice pots. Now, there might be a couple ones that you want to get as you get better, like a bowl-shaped rib. This one does have pretty much everything you need to get starting. You can certainly learn everything you know about pottery with this toolkit. Now, the last time I reviewed the VEVOR pottery wheel, one thing this is like so minor, but like I am absolutely in love with metal ribs. This is the metal rib right here. It's my favorite tool. And the last toolkit I had, the metal rib was pretty stiff. Now I can already feel that this one is perfect. So they must have changed something with the toolkits because this metal rib is perfect. It's not stiff like the last one. Now these tools right here also come with it, and I absolutely love, where is it? This little guy right here for doing an undercut. This is the way to go. You can either use this one right here. I've made my own kind of special version of this years ago, but this does wonders. So this is definitely a bonus. Again, all this stuff comes with it, so no need to go out there and buy something else, which is great. I was pleasantly surprised that this entire VEVOR pottery wheel came packaged in this thick, extremely squishy cardboard material. In some places it was 3 layers thick. And that made me feel good that it wasn't your typical styrofoam or foam padding that just clogs up the landfill. And at least this would biodegrade in landfill, or you can recycle it. The pottery wheel has 2 very high quality LED backlit sealed switches. The first one, the red one, is the power on off switch. The second one is the forward, neutral, and reverse switch. Now the body of the machine is this high quality stamped steel. And the wheel head is, I was pleasantly surprised that the wheel head is made out of cast aluminum. I have a much more expensive pottery wheel that has a plastic wheel head. So this is nice to see that it's nice cast aluminum, kind of thick and high quality wheel head. And the splash pan is also thicker than I thought it would be, more durable than I expected, and has a very nice snap to it. Now, the legs are pretty easy to adjust. Each one of them has 2 hex cap screws on it. Comes with the Allen wrench you need. We'll go into that more later in the video. But it does get to a height of about 20.5 inches when you raise it up all the way, which was plenty for me to use and sit down and throw. But some people might want to throw a brick underneath the legs or a bed riser if it's too short. But I found it to be just fine. Okay, everybody, we got our wheel set up. I am standing up, of course. I love to stand up and throw. In my opinion, it is the way to go. I've had a minute to look over the manual for this wheel, check it out, spin it around, set it up a few different ways. And I think I figured out some of the pros and some of the cons. And that'll be perfect time to talk about my little disclaimer here. I got to say this every time I do a review video like this. VEVOR did send me this for free. I did not pay for this wheel. Having said that, these are my own opinions. If something's not good about it, I'm going to tell you. I want you to love your pottery equipment. I want you to be happy with what you have. I want you to feel like that you have something that's really awesome that you love. So if you want to buy a different brand, if you don't want to buy this wheel, that is totally fine with me. I'm not trying to sell you anything. They sent me this wheel. I'm going to review it. these are my own opinions. Hey everybody, Future Jeff here. I forgot to say it earlier. If you want to get one of these wheels, the VEVOR belt drive wheel right behind me, I do have that affiliate link in the description. You get 5% off anything from VEVOR. Links in the description. Let's carry on with the video. There is 3 cons I've noticed right away. 3 things that I think could be improved. They're kind of all minor, but they have to do with the start of the pottery throwing process. So I want to get into those real quick. The first one is a splash pan is incredibly wiggly. Okay, now I think there's a way to fix this, and I've already done this on this part. It's just minor, it just spins a little bit. I think that's gonna bother me when I'm throwing. So on the back of this pottery wheel, I already did it to this side. I just put a little bit of this foam tape on there, and I think that foam tape will keep it from moving. There's probably something better to use, but this is what I had in my house already. So this is the kind of foam that you'd put like on your windows or whatever to seal them up. Nice and snug. We're in business. The second thing is there's no bat pins. So I've already made a video about this. If you haven't seen my video on how to do this yet, watch this video first and then go, I'll put the link in the end and in the cards above, and you can go watch this. But this is a swim chamois that I made, and it will keep the bat in place while throwing. If you don't know what a bat pin is or a bat pin hole is, this wheel doesn't have any bat pin holes, but I'll show you a picture of my other wheel. But a bat pin is something that holds a bat on, and this is a bat. It is a piece of wood that you throw your pot on. It can also be made out of plaster, plastic, a bunch of other things. You throw your pot on here, and then you pick this whole thing up, and it allows you to pick stuff up really easy. And there's a bunch of other tricks you can do with bats. So it's not just for picking things up easy. But this one doesn't have bat pin holes. I would love it. VEVOR, if you're listening, put some bat pin holes on there. We all want them. Put the bat pin holes on there. Make it come with bat pins. We would love that. But this works great. And I'm going to put my swim chamois down and then put my bat on there. The second little issue I see, I guess it's the third. So number 1 is it wiggles. Number 2 is no bat pins. And I think you can fix the third one really easily with the bat. But this splash pan is just about a 1/2 inch higher than I'd like it on the wheel. And that can be a pro and a con. It's a con because to throw, you're going to want to put your hands on the wheel like this. But you can see that this splash pan is raising my wrist and kind of giving this angle that I hold my wrist, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest. So I think that this could be lowered a little bit. It's a pro though, because when you're trimming, if you're using a Giffen grip, or sometimes when you're trimming something that's a little taller, you're going to get these shavings flying all over the place, right, when you trim. So this will hold those in. So to solve that, I think it's a pretty easy solution is just use a thicker bat. I don't think that's going to bother most people a ton, but it's something that I'm noticing. I just want to point it out again. This is going to be my full honest review, and I see something that could be a little bit changed and for the better. I think the splash pan could just be a little bit lower, or the wheel head a little bit higher, just so you're not having to turn your wrists at that weird angle. I think that could make it better. So I'm just going to use a thicker bat, and that's going to raise it up so I don't have to twist you can see the position of my hands now is much straighter, and I'm not going to be twisting my wrist, and I think that'll work. So we should be all set to go. And again, using that little pink rag is going to hold that bat in place, so I can just throw on here. When I'm done, I'm pick the whole thing up. Yes, you could drill bat pins into this. It would totally work. It has the nice thickness on the wheel head. The wheel head is nice and thick, especially for the price. It's cast aluminum, so you could totally drill bat pin holes in here. No problem at all. So I'm going to get some clay out, and then we're going to do a little story time and throw some pots. Okay, I got my clay all ready to go. We're all set to make a pot. We're going to do a salad bowl. I'm super into salads, but every time I use a salad bowl that's supposed to be a salad bowl, it just isn't big enough, or it's the wrong shape, right? Salad's kind of fluffy. And so if you were to like squish it all up, it's really kind of a small thing, but it takes up a lot of volume. So I always want a really wider salad bowl. So we're going to make I think that's the perfect thing to show off on this wheel, because compared to the other VEVOR wheel I reviewed, this one has a 14-inch wheel head. So this is something that you can throw a really wide pot on, right? So that's why I wanted to throw this salad bowl on here. And so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I got my bat on the swim chamois. Got my bat wet. Anytime you're using a wood bat, you don't want it wet, but you do want it damp. So I've dampened it off. There's no actual water on this, but it is damp. And I got my, this is 5.5 pounds of clay. Now, one thing I just want to mention really quick is the capacity of this pottery wheel. This pottery wheel is rated for 5 kilograms, and there's 2.2 pounds in a kilogram. So that's about 11 pounds, which I think is plenty. It's more clay. I rarely ever use anything more than that. And to be honest, I was doing the test right in my backyard where I was holding onto the wheel and hitting the gas, and I was really pushing down on it. And I mean, it's got plenty of power. I think it can do way more than 11. I think that's just what they rated it for. So we're going to go ahead and throw a bowl on here. And one thing I've noticed right off the bat, this thing is quiet. It is quiet. And that is pretty surprising because the other wheel I reviewed from VEVOR, that was one of the things I didn't like about it. It was kind of loud. So this one is nice and quiet. I'll get my other microphone out. We'll have to do a little test and see how quiet it is compared to, we'll get my more expensive wheel out. We'll test it and see if it's quieter than the more expensive wheel, which I think it may be. It's certainly quieter than the other VEVOR, which is right here that I reviewed, which is awesome. I love this one, but it is loud. It's a direct drive. I think that's what makes it louder. So splash pan fix works great. Now, also the thickness of the bat, because that's working great. And you can see my bat is not moving. There's no bat pins on this. We're just put the bat right on that swim chamois. It's not moving at all. We're good. So I want to get a little story time. I think why I'm reviewing this is important. So if you've been a potter or if you've been around wheels for any length of time, you know that the wheels are expensive. They're so much money. To buy a Brent wheel, to buy one of these legacy name brand wheels, Scott, you know all the names. They're expensive, like really expensive. And so when I first saw these Amazon VEVOR wheels, I was like, how can it be so cheap? It cannot work. It's got to be a toy. There's no way this works. And so I went, I did what everybody else, you go online and you look for reviews and stuff. And so I go on Clay Buddies, and everybody's on Clay Buddies is like, when you type in, cheap Amazon or VEVOR Pottery Wheel, you get these answers that are like yes and no. Some people are saying, yeah, it works fine. I'm learning on it. It works great. And then you get these people that say, you can't use that wheel. It's not going to work. It's going to be underpowered. It's not going to be able to center the clay. And so I just couldn't really tell if it's just like, I think the reason why people say that kind of stuff is because they haven't tried it, right? They don't know that. I mean, you just saw I centered 5 pounds of clay, no problem. 6 pounds of clay, no problem. It works fine, right? But the people on Clay Buddies, there's a lot of people on Clay Buddies, oh, that won't work. You can't use it. I think they're just people that haven't tried it. And they're like, there's no way for, $1,000 less that this pottery wheel can do what something $1,000 more can. But it does. So I wanted to find out for myself. And that's when I reached out to VEVOR. Because I'm a high school teacher. I want to see, my students always want to get into something. They don't want to spend a ton of money getting into something and trying it out. So I thought it'd be great if I tried it out, and that's when I reached out to VEVOR, and I had the lowest expectations. I thought I was going to get a piece of junk. I thought it wasn't going to work, and it works great. This VEVOR wheel works great. This one I can already tell just by messing with her in my yard and playing around with it and centering one pot. Works amazing. Okay, it does everything a $2,000 pottery wheel does, and sure, there's some trade-offs, and we'll go over the trade-offs. We've already gone over 3. No bat pins, wiggly splash pan. Splash pan's a little bit too high, right? But other than that, she's quiet. She's making a nice pot right now. I think a lot of times when you get into a new hobby or starting something new, it's like you see all the, like, for example, I like to ride bikes, right? You can spend $10,000 on a bike. $10,000, or you can spend $500 on a bike. They both bikes, they both get you riding someplace. Do you need a $10,000 bike? Most people don't need a $10,000 bike. Those people that are elite racers, Tour de France, all that stuff, yeah, they're gonna need the $10,000 bike to get the 0.3 of a second difference over 50 miles. But most people just wanna enjoy making some pots. And this is kind of the same thing, right? You don't need the $2,000 pottery wheel to learn and to, explore some things. You might need it if you're building a pot that's 6 feet tall. But are you going to do that when you're learning? No. So you want that lower price of entry so you can see if pottery is something you want to get into. And maybe down the road, if you want to make a 6 foot tall vase, maybe you do spend a little bit more. But for most of us, getting started, you can get by with this pottery wheel for $174 and really enjoy it. I can just already tell you this, the quietness of it. I'm loving it already. Really enjoying that. So enough talking. Let's get to making some pots. So I got my little patty of clay right here. And what I like to do is I like to visualize the depth. Right now, it has, it's kind of thick, and I don't want a big, thick foot. I don't like big foots. I don't like big I don't like big feet on my bowls and stuff when I put them in the, I used to, but when you put them in the dishwasher, they get all full of water and stuff. So I'm just flattening this out, and I'm trying to visualize the thickness of it and get this kind of flattish on the top. And I can see it's right now about this thick. See if we can see that in the camera. It's about this thick right now. And so that's going to be on the outside of the foot, and then I'm just going to compress this in on the inside, and then we'll lift up the walls. So your hand is naturally got this curvature shape to it, right? It's curved right here. And if you just push straight down, you're going to get this really nice inside of a bowl shape. And if you haven't watched my video, I'm going to put this at the end too. A spoon is also great to use, and it's like the best pottery tool, tied with the metal rib, tied with the Sureform tool. My 3 top favorite tools right here: spoon, metal rib. And so even though this pottery toolkit comes with all the tools you need, I still suggest you get a nice flat spoon. But I'm going to take this part of my hand for this because the spoon is just a little bit too much curve, and I'm just going to push the inside of this bowl in. So I'm just going to push straight down like this. So now it's compressed, it's going inward. And now I'm going to put my hand underneath this part right here. So I'm going to put my hand right here and just make a dig underneath there and give myself something to lift up against. So again, these are all the tools it came with. So this is the yellow sponge it came with. I'm going to put my finger on top like this. If you haven't yet burned a fingernail yet, if you keep your thumb or your finger upside down like this and you put your finger on the wheel head, it will burn your fingernail off. So I'm using the sponge to protect my finger. And I'm going to just dig underneath this and lift up the edge a little bit. It's going to start that bowl shape. Okay. And I don't want my foot too narrow. So I'm just going to dig a little bit, and then I'm going to lift this up. Now that this is raised off the wheel head, I need to slow the wheel down. And this foot pedal is butter smooth. Okay, it really is. It's a nice smooth curve to it. Let's go through the, so there's no speed. It can go real slow, medium, fast. It's butter smooth. It really is. It's a nice foot pedal. The controls of it are very smooth, equal to, like a $2,000 wheel, no problem. So because this is so wide, this part on the outside is going very fast compared to the middle part. So I'm going to go slower than normal. Like if I was making a coffee cup or something, I would go much slower. I'm going to use this part of my hand, pinch in and lift up and out while compressing the outer edge with this hand. I'm going to dig in, squeeze, and lift. This is porcelain. It's frost porcelain by Laguna. It's my favorite clay. It's absolutely beautiful. It's glass-like, totally translucent when it's fired. We're going to slow it down just a little bit more. This porcelain is not like throwing stoneware. It is floppy. So you want to be very careful. If you go too fast, the centrifugal force will just tear this thing apart. So I'm gonna go nice and slow, and I'm gonna try to keep the bottom a little thicker. And just keep in mind that because this, because this is a wider circle, I need to really just take my time and let the wheel go around a full revolution before moving my hands up, so I don't get too fast and throw it off center. So it's a little bit thick throughout, but again, this is this frost porcelain, which is just incredibly difficult to throw because it's so floppy. So I'm going to leave it a little thicker. I might just give it a little bit more pull on the edge, just so I don't have to trim so much, but get some of this water out of the middle. It is just a beautiful clay. It does have some quirks. You're going to have to practice with it a little bit if you try it, but it's amazing. So beautiful. I just can't get over how beautiful it is. One of the things I like to do, you see me like do this a lot with my hand. I'll put my hand and then I'll direct the water where I want it to go. So I'm going to do this behind. Probably won't be able to see it on camera, but I'm just going to get a little bit of water on the underside of the bowl so my fingers don't stick. And also, I am dying. I've been taking these pictures. I just love going out on my boat and taking pictures of all the birds and all the beauty that there is in the nature around us. So this will be a perfect bowl to put a spoonbill on. If you don't know what that is, roseate spoonbill. It's a beautiful bird. Or a flamingo. I just went down and take some pictures of the flamingos down at Cape Canaveral. I cannot believe, I just cannot believe that we have flamingos in Florida. And I know they're not supposed to be here. They flew from somewhere else, but I just love that they're here. I just cannot believe we have them. I cannot believe I got to see them. And I'm just blown away by the flamingos. So this will be a perfect, nice, big platter. Big bowl shape, right? Big salad bowl, platter style, to put a beautiful flamingo on there. So I'm going to leave this kind of undecorated and let the flamingo and the salad be the decoration. But I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I don't know why, but I like a little bit of order in my life. I like things to be a little bit wild and have a little fun and be spontaneous, but I like a little order in my life too. So I always like to draw a little line around this edge just to kind of help me keep, it's like a frame. So I'm just going to use the edge of this, wood rib that came with the kit and just draw a small line right around there. Look what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing for, this is difficult with one hand like this. Oh yeah, we got it. Was it in focus? Hopefully it was. There's our line. We have our beautiful salad bowl right here. It's gonna shrink. I like salad, but it is definitely gonna shrink. Okay, this clay shrinks a lot. Now I forgot to do one thing, and that is the undercut. So we'll get this centered back up here. I'm gonna take this tool right here. Now this is something that this will save you so much time and energy and just help you make better pots. So I'm gonna use this tool to make an undercut right here. This will save you so much time trimming. It'll make your pot dry out more even. And I'm just gonna use this and hook this, and focus, yeah. Hook this down in here and trim a little bit of the extra clay off. It works miracles. Now I made my own tool to do this, but this tool works amazing. Okay, so we got all that extra clay off. That's gonna take some of the water off the bottom, make it dry more evenly. It's gonna make it so it's centered. When you go to center it while you're throwing or while you're trimming it, it's going to be, have a nice straight line. All right, while we do the pros and cons, I'm gonna make some more pots here. So again, I got my little swim chamois. Go watch the video after you're done watching this one, how to do that. And we're gonna make some more pots, obviously smaller bat this time. So we're gonna make some smaller pots. First pro is, of course, this is the most important one. It's affordable, right? $174. You're gonna save yourself $1,000, maybe $800 to $1,000. Okay, that is incredible. And it's, I love this wheel. I take it out, it's all the time. I take it outside. I love throwing outside. I love having a wheel that I can use stoneware with because I do not want to get any stoneware in my clean porcelain studio. So I love that I can take it outside and throw stoneware. And this wheel's $89 on sale. This one's $174. So the price you can get in. You don't need that, like we talked about earlier, you don't need the $10,000 bike to go starting. You're not doing the Tour de France of pottery, right? You just want to go make some pots and have fun and enjoy and learn. You don't need a really expensive wheel to learn. So the affordability, the lightness, right? It's very light and easy to pick up. You can take it outside. It is quiet. It is so quiet. I love that. Now, setting a little expectations. When you get it, this one has a little bit of a thump, thump, thump sound. It goes thump, 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 thump when you're throwing with it. Every belt-driven tool I have, when I've gotten it, it has a little thump, thump, thump sound. Okay, what that is, that's the seam in the belt. When a belt's brand new, it's got a seam where the two pieces of the belt come together, and you can hear the thumping of the belt. It's not a big deal. It's going to dissipate as the wheel ages a little bit. So that's something that you want to expect to hear. It's nothing wrong with the wheel. It's just part of a belt-driven machine is they have a seam in the belt, and it's going to make some thumping noises. It is powerful. Just like that $10,000 bike example, it has got plenty of power, easily centers 6 pounds, right? Most of the things you're going to be making are going to be 1, 2, 3 pounds when you're learning, and I have a feeling it can handle more than the stated 5 kilograms. I think it can go way more than that. So it's powerful, plenty of powerful enough. I love that it has off-the-shelf parts. What's an off-the-shelf part? If something breaks on this, a lot of the parts that they used are just standard parts you can go out and buy. For example, on the foot pedal, it has something called a potentiometer. That's the thing that controls the speed. This pottery wheel right here, I did have a problem with the foot pedal. And when I was researching solutions, one of the things that I thought might be wrong with it was the potentiometer. So I looked on Amazon. You can get the potentiometer on Amazon, and it's like $3 for 10 of them or something like that. So it's an off-the-shelf part. The motor, you can see the motor on the bottom of this wheel. It's a standard off-the-shelf motor, just an electrical motor that you can buy. Not that I've ever had a pottery wheel blow the motor, but if you did, it's a standard off-the-shelf part. The belts, right? You can just go and get another belt for it. You don't need some specialized belt for it. So I do like that it uses off-the-shelf parts. Okay, what else? I've never had a wheel actually break a belt though. Actually I did once, but it was like a wheel that was older than me, and I've been making pots for 30 years. So I wouldn't expect you're gonna break a belt. It comes with all the tools you need, except for a spoon. Watch the video, right? It comes with all the tools you need, except for a spoon. So go watch the video on that, including this tool right here, which is a lifesaver. I'm just gonna do my little trim on the bottom of this pot right here. I don't know if I said this in the video yet, but VEVOR did, they didn't say I had to do anything, but they said, if you can throw some stuff and put it in a little kiln, that'd be great. That I reviewed earlier. So I'm gonna throw some small pots to go in that little kiln. Blow it up a little bit, get some volume. This metal rib comes with it, my favorite tool, of course. So I'm gonna use this metal rib just to smooth it off and get that shape perfect. Oh yeah. I've already done it, but I like to do the undercut kind of at the end, even if I've already done it. Get nice and clean on the bottom. All right, I got a slightly more powerful shotgun mic here, and we're gonna test out the sound of 3 wheels. Let's get into the not so fun part, right? The cons. It does have a few cons. We've already talked about 3 of them. The splash pan's just slightly too high, about a ½ inch too high. Has no bat pins. Again, that is not a big deal because you can just put down the pink thing, right? Or whatever color you get. The wiggly splash pan. Again, we already fixed that. It was an easy 2-second fix. I'm sure there's a better way to fix that. I would like that VEVOR would do something, put a little rubber on the bottom of that splash guard or something like that. To fix that, that'd be great, so you didn't have to do that. There's no detents in the legs, okay? What's a detent? A detent's like a little thing where something stops, right? So these legs on here are adjustable, and there's no little marking that says it's 1 inch, 2 inch. There's no little divot to help you get it the same all the way around. So to adjust the wheel and get the same leg height on each one of them, you're gonna have to break out like a measuring tape or eyeball it or something like that. I wish there was detents or little dents in the leg so you could, the screw would just pop in there, and without measuring, you could put it on the third dot or the fourth dot or something like that. Okay, so that's a con. Again, that's a minor con, not a big deal. There's always a trade-off. You know, if you're gonna get something that's $1,000 cheaper, that's something that I would like to see, and hopefully VEVOR puts that in, but this wheel does not have that on the legs. It's, I think, something that they could probably easily, without making the wheel cost anymore, put a detent in. So hopefully they do that. So let's see. So a little chunk of hard clay or something in this. It does come with a needle tool. It does come with a needle tool. So if you want to cut off, like if you have a little bump in here, I have a little bit of hard clay right there. So I'm gonna use my hand like a C-clamp. They're braced together, and I'm just gonna slowly cut in until the tip hits my finger. And then lift up, and then we have cut out the hard chunk of clay that was in there. Sometimes when you set your clay on a piece of table like I did, you get a little hard chunk in there, and it'll throw it off center. So that's an easy fix. Overall thoughts. First of all, I don't know how long this thing is gonna last, but you know, looking at the motor, looking at everything like that, I just recently, I cannot believe this. So after I got this one, right, I got this wheel, and I had 2 extra wheels that were kind of my outside, take outside stoneware wheels, right? And they're one of them was a $1,200 wheel. This one has about the same motor as the $1,200 wheel. It looks the same, yeah, right? And so I actually sold them. I sold my other 2 wheels because I like this one better because it's lighter, it's easier to carry, and it just works better. One of the wheels was about a $600 wheel, tabletop, about the same amount of power, about the same everything, but it was a tabletop wheel, had a plastic wheel head. This one has a metal one, and I sold it, and it didn't even have a foot pedal, and I sold it because I like this one better. So I guess what I'm getting at is that this is a great wheel. It's not just great for someone that's learning. I love this wheel, and I like this wheel even more. It does cost $100 extra. This one, here's what I would do. If you're kind of just deciding, do I want to get an $80 wheel or a $174 wheel? Here's what I would do. If your quiet is really important to you, $174. If you're going to be wearing headphones, right, you're wearing noise canceling, you got the AirPods or whatever, and you don't care, then maybe you want to save yourself an extra $100 and get this one. If you're going to be throwing wider platters and you need a wider surface, this one. Okay, if you want something lighter that's more portable, you want to take it to a craft show or something like that and do demonstrations, this one's lighter. Okay, so those are kind of like which one I would get. I like this one better just because of the quietness. I am big time, this is my peaceful time. I want to be in a quiet environment as much as possible, listen to the birds outside. This one's much quieter, so I do like this one. Power-wise, this one does say it can center more. This one's plenty powerful for everything I needed it to do, so I don't see an issue there power-wise, but you're kind of deciding those might be some factors. All right, I cannot believe I'm about to do this, but I got a chunk of stoneware right here. So we'll do final thoughts and stoneware at the same time. I cannot believe I'm bringing stoneware into my nice clean porcelain studio, but I'm doing it. This will be for next video. This is a total experiment. This is cone 10 stoneware. Everybody, right now I'm mostly firing at cone 6. So this is cone 10 stoneware. You're gonna have to subscribe to figure out what I'm gonna do with this. This will be a next video. Just in case it doesn't work, this is a total experiment. We'll find out together. Comment down below, what do you think I'm gonna do with this? So I'm just gonna take this stoneware and I'm gonna flatten it out. I'm gonna leave it about this thick, about a 1/2 inch thick. And I'm gonna make sure it's at least 6 inches wide in every direction. So what do you think I'm gonna do with this flat piece of stoneware? I'm gonna get it nice and flat. So I got it's now about a 1/2 inch thick. And you lose a little bit when you cut it with the wire tool, so it's a little thicker than that. But I'm going to use this wood rib that comes with the wheel to flatten this out, get it nice and smooth. This will be in the next video. You're going to have to subscribe to see what we do with it. But this will be a total experiment. This might not work. It might totally backfire. in which case I'll never speak about it again. I'm always experimenting, always trying out something. This is something I've been wanting to do for the last couple weeks. I think it'll work. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram, Huebner Pottery on Instagram. Check out my Etsy store, link down below. You get 5% off. You don't even have to enter the coupon code or anything. It just puts it in there for you. And click the link right here to watch the video on how to make yourself one of these to hold your bats down without bat pins. Click the link right here to see how to use the spoon in your pots to make a really awesome bowls. It's the best tool ever, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys so much.